Welcome back to Bookish Dives. We've journeyed through some truly fascinating texts in our previous explorations, unearthing surprising insights. And today, we're cracking open a classic.
Yeah.
It's actually credited with profoundly shaping the business acumen of one of the world's most successful investors, Warren Buffett himself.
That's right. We're plunging into F.C. Minaker's 1,000 Ways to Make $1,000. And this isn't just, some dusty old book. It was originally published way back in 1936, then revised in 37 and 40. So right in a period of huge economic upheaval and recovery.
Wow.
It's a remarkable collection of practical, experience-based suggestions for starting a business, making money, often even just in your spare time.
So our mission for you, our curious listener, is to kind of extract the most important nuggets of wisdom from this historical guide. Let me give you a shortcut maybe to understanding that enduring entrepreneurial spirit, discovering some surprising facts and grasping timeless business principles, all delivered with, well, our signature Bookish Dives approach. Let's really unpack this. So moving from the philosophical, which is interesting, to the intensely practical.
Yeah.
How does this book start guiding us on the actual journey, especially with its pretty unique take on currency?
Well, it begins with this really strong declaration from the publisher, John Cameron Aspley from American Business. He asserted, and this is quite a statement, "Never in the history of the United States has the time been so favorable for a man with small capital to start his own business as it is today."
Strong words, especially given the time, right, post-WWI.
Exactly. The world was grappling with economic shocks, but he saw opportunity emerging from the chaos.
And then it goes even deeper, doesn't it? It challenges our basic definition of money itself. The book basically says money, just as money, is no good. You can't eat it, wear it. It's just for exchanging for things you do need, a medium of exchange.
Precisely. It really strips away the mystique, It reminds us that in the early West, whiskey was sometimes money. And beads were used by Native Americans famously for buying Manhattan Island.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah, and the whole point of currency, even government coins, was just convenience, to save people the trouble of weighing out metal. So the book argues the real power isn't the paper or coin itself, but what it represents, what it lets you do.
Okay, so given that powerful reframe, money isn't the goal, it's the tool. How does Minaker then bridge that gap? How do we get to actually making that first $1,000?
It connects directly back to that purpose. When you aim for $1,000, you're not really thinking of the notes. You're thinking about what they can buy you. The book says your success hinges on your ability to make or do something of definite value to society.
Which people want more than they want the money it will cost them. Yeah, I recall that line. It's powerful.
It is, and it forces us to ask, am I building something people truly value?
Yeah?
Are they actually willing to choose my thing over just keeping their cash? It shifts the focus entirely from chasing profit
to creating undeniable value.
Yeah.
That feels very modern, actually, even though it's from 1936.
Absolutely. It's a foundational truth.
And what's interesting, too, is how the book kind of anticipates skepticism about learning business from reading. He says, don't listen to people who laugh at getting ideas from books, because reading about other people's experiences is like being invited into the home of the author. It shortcuts the learning curve.
It's a great metaphor, a really strong argument for continuous learning using collective knowledge, which, is arguably even more critical today with all the information flying around.
Okay, so let's get into the heart of it. The stories. That's where this book really comes alive, I think. Let's dive into some of those practical examples, see how people got started, often with very little.
Yeah, definitely. One of the most famous ones is John H. Patterson. Now, he didn't invent the cash register, but at age 40, he bought an interest in this company for, what was it, $6,500?
Right, and the device was terrible. Crude, punch hole thing, no demand. People made fun of it.
A community joke, yeah. He basically bought a dud.
And he tried to get out of it, offered a $2,000 bonus just to cancel the contract.
Can you imagine? But they refused, so he was stuck. He had to make it work. And the fascinating part, as the book notes, is that he knew nothing about manufacturing.
Which turned out to be lucky, it suggests, because he didn't know it couldn't be done.
Exactly. So he ended up basically inventing modern salesmanship, turned that joke of a product into a $250 million success.
That's just incredible. But was it genius or just pure stubbornness, you think? Given he wanted out initially, does the book touch on that?
Yeah, it implies it was a blend. Once he was committed, his persistence drove him to innovate everything, the product, sure, but really the method of selling it. Maybe not knowing the rules let him break them. It's about sheer will and totally reinventing the sales process.
Okay, another great story, the Snead family. Facing the Great Depression, 2 sons ready for college, dad's jobless. Tough bot.
Really tough. And their first idea, a lime drink agency, it failed.
But they pivoted brilliantly to Morning Glory tomato juice.
And their strategy was pure genius. To sell the masses, first sell the classes.
Right, they sent samples to, like, the social elites, the Drexels, the Biddles in Philadelphia.
Once those tastemakers endorsed it, they used that social proof, went to exclusive hotels, then even major railroads like the Pennsylvania lines. They got thousands in free advertising, effectively.
Without spending a dime. That's amazing. It's like early influencer marketing, using psychology, targeting strategically.
Totally, even without a big budget.
Then there's John Wanamaker. Started his store with just $3,500. Sales were slow. He was about to go under.
Yeah, on the brink.
And he makes this incredibly bold move. Buys stock from a nervous manufacturer, invests his last $24 in 6 newspaper ads. April 1861.
Just $24.
And the entire stock sold out in 2 weeks. It's not just about advertising, it's about conviction. Decisive action under extreme pressure.
It really is. He knew the power of a clear message, even with his back against the wall. How many of us today, with all the noise, miss that chance for one bold, focused move?
I have a question.
It shows the power of a compelling offer delivered right to the audience. And speaking of starting small and overcoming odds, Alice Foote McDougall.
Oh, her story is amazing.
1907, a widow, 3 kids, just $38 to her name.
$38.
And she takes over her husband's coffee-birking business, facing huge prejudice as a woman back then, borrowed desk, second-hand chair. She learned the ropes and turned that $38 into $1 million business.
Just pure grit. Relentless learning, refusing limitations.
Sure.
And these stories really hammer home that adaptability theme. Like the candy maker who figured out why his stuff wasn't selling, then just made what would sell.
Right. Or James Hadley. Failed selling doormats to homes, pivoted to selling bulk to stores and factories. Made over $1,000 profit in 10 months.
It's about spotting the real market. And Ruth G. Jones, a widow, no experience, starts a felt work business just because her friend's son needed letters cut for his baseball uniform.
Finding that unmet need, however small it seems.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Salesmanship. The book really demystifies it, I felt. It's not some magical gift, it's a skill, one you can master to write your own ticket, basically control your income.
Absolutely. And it highlights a key psychological point. Most people need a little pushing to bring them to a decision.
Yeah.
We tend to put things off, right? So the salesperson's job is to make it easy, simplify the choice, guide them.
Like that car salesman example. Just check your preferences. I'll put your order through.
Yeah.
Makes the next step feel simple, inevitable.
Exactly. It removes the friction.
But, does the book suggest that it still applies today? With consumers being so informed, is it still about pushing or has it evolved?
I think it's more about ethical persuasion, guidance. The book gives examples like the benefit association salesman who learned telling the absolute truth was key, even when called a liar initially. Or George Conrad with the slicing machine. Shows the expensive one, lets them resist, then reveals the cheaper, equally good one, crashes their objections with the price.
Ah, the contrast principle.
Big.
Clever.
Right. He averaged $75 a week doing that huge money then. It shows understanding buyer psychology is timeless, presenting the right solution the right way.
And it's not just what you say, but how. Mrs. Leyest selling frocks. She did well when she was just natural one woman talking to another. Lost that touch, sales dropped. So she changed. Started wearing a sample, pointing out the details, French seams, washable guarantees.
Authenticity and deep product knowledge. Crucial then, crucial now.
Yeah. And advertising, obviously, is salesmanship scaled up. The book has some great advice there, too. John P. Harding, the corned beef king, built a restaurant empire in Chicago with small, funny newspaper ads.
And he cleverly tied them to window displays, seasonal eating habits, started a $10 million business from a $5,000 ad acorn, as he called it, consistent branding, tying into behavior.
And that other simple truth, everybody likes to get something for nothing.
Oh, yeah. Wrigley, Jewel Tea Co. built empires offering premiums. That soap maker whose sales caught on like wildfire just by adding a free hand towel with 2 bars. Simple psychological levers still work today with loyalty programs, bundled offers.
Definitely.
And look at the mail-order giants, Richard Sears, Henry Field. They prove the power of truly knowing your customer. Sears dressing up the sales package in his catalogs.
And Henry Field keeping his catalogs for farmers brief and to the point. Because, as he said, you can't make a farmer stop and shiver in the cold while you talk all day.
Exactly. Meet your audience where they are. Understand their context, their needs. Deliver information their way. That's effective marketing. 1930s or now.
The book also really stresses that genius is 1/10 inspiration and 9/10 perspiration idea. It's about the work, not just the flash of brilliance, and turning hobbies into businesses. It even mentions free training resources back then, public schools, YMCA, libraries.
Yeah, suggesting skills, even self-taught ones, can be monetized. Lots of examples. Joseph Dodson, selling fancy birdhouses because his neighbors wanted them. Bert Pond, turning his model airplane hobby into a business selling motors, parts, kits.
It's amazing how personal interest plus a business mindset can scale up.
Definitely. And some ideas are just out there. A.O. Dinsdale, the painter who started whittling animals, became so popular he ended up making mechanical displays for museums, sound-controlled exhibits.
From whittling to animatronics, that's quite a journey. Shows how passion can lead to unexpected innovation.
Or George Kona, the furniture expert, making incredibly detailed miniatures of antiques. People loved them so much they commissioned custom dollhouses from $10 cottages to $300 mansions. Shows the power of a niche market when quality is top-notch.
And then the really wild ones. George K. End canning rattlesnake meat snake snacks.
Can you imagine? And Mary Cooper making novelties from free clam shells, selling them in a beauty parlor, finding value where others see nothing.
Or just waste.
Right. And beyond making things, so many services, like the New York woman with the canine catering company. Delivering dog meals expanded to multiple cities seems obvious now, maybe, but revolutionary then.
Totally. Catering to specialized needs, convenience. Or that Chicago guy who used a forced vacation to start a postal card ad business, bought a duplicator for $35, made $60 profit the first week working for small businesses.
Quick thinking, low-cost start, spotting a gap, like J.E. Cox in that small Georgia town with no entertainment, buys a portable sound projector for $300, starts a traveling movie show, 15 cents admission, nets over $150 a week.
Incredible returns.
And maybe the strangest one, Mr. Towns, salvaging gold from dental office sweepings.
That one blew my mind.
Right. Assaying hundreds, thousands of dollars of gold per ton, more than the famous Juneau gold mine, redefines hidden treasure, looking where nobody else thinks to look.
The variety is just stunning. Club truck gardens, coin-op pool tables, clipping services for artists, coaching kids' sports. It really drives home that point. Opportunity is everywhere if you look for needs others overlook, no matter how small or weird it seems.
Yeah, the range is incredible. But the book doesn't just stop at making the first 1,000. It gives advice for after you've made it. And it's pretty blunt, actually. It warns against getting suckered into surefire schemes.
Timeless advice. Temptations for quick riches are always around, maybe even more so now.
Exactly. And it shares wisdom from Andrew Mellon, the financier. He cautions strongly against speculation, advised diversification. His big message: you can't beat the kitty, whether it's stocks, horses, poker, the house, the broker. They eventually get it all.
That hits hard today, doesn't it? With day trading, meme stocks, crypto. How does Mellon's advice land now? What's a deeper lesson for sustainable growth?
It's incredibly relevant, a stark reminder. Real wealth comes from value creation, sustained effort, not short-term gambling. The kitty is that built-in statistical edge in speculative markets. The book pushes for stable investments, continuous learning, long-term adaptation. Remember Harold Holt. Used a business course to turn his tire station around. Improved operations, sure, but also started offering tire rentals to non-renters, doubling sales there.
Yeah, innovation based on learning.
Right. He invested in knowledge, found a sustainable solution. It's about building a robust foundation, not chasing quick wins. That long-term mindset is the key beyond the first 1,000.
What an incredible journey, then, through Minaker's 1,000 Ways to Make $1,000. It really is amazing how those core principles, find a need, innovate, adapt, sell with integrity, feel just as relevant now as they did nearly a century ago.
Absolutely. The context changes, technology changes, but the fundamentals, they seem pretty constant. And all those stories, starting with almost nothing, $38, a failed idea, worn out tires, they prove ingenuity and persistence, are the real capital. It's not what you start with, it's the value you create.
So maybe our final provocative thought for you, our listener, is this. What overlooked problem is right there in your community that you could potentially solve? What skill do you have or hobby you love that could become something of definite value to society, something people might want more than their money? The opportunities, as the book shows, are often surprisingly close to home.
Yeah, they really are. And remember, building anything worthwhile is a continuous process. It doesn't stop. Stay curious, stay resourceful, keep your eyes open for those hidden needs, those unconventional solutions.
Well said.
Yeah.
That's it for this exploration of 1,000 ways to make $1,000. Thank you so much for joining us on Bookish Dives, and be sure to follow us for more insightful journeys into fascinating books.